once again, I'll just look at these books, these wonderful books. The Yale Shakespeare Complete Works. Enid. Poems from Robert Browning. Les Miserables. The Chronicles of Narnia. Wow, what a great collection of books. Books are good. Books are good. A parent can't complain when he has two wonderful daughters that love to read and have a love for the Lord. It's just really been a privilege of Helen and mine to have Rebecca and Deborah as our daughters, and to see them grow in the Lord and a desire to serve Him. It's just a wonderful thing. But books also remind me of back when Helen and I were first married. We met on the mission field. We met in Africa. Oh, I forgot to say, welcome to our blog page and to Tales from Africa. That's where we are right now. And although I'm going to tell you a tale before we actually got to Africa. And when Helen and we met in Africa, we met there, and then we came back and went to school at Moody Bible Institute. And there was a time when, in our first years of our marriage, that we were really wondering how we were going to survive. And I was at school, and I needed books, hence the background of books, you know. And so we were at Bible school. Our son, Tim Jr., was just several months old. And we had gotten there. We had basically went on a prayer, I think is the expression they do. We didn't really have any money. The Lord provided us to get there. And so now we're there. We're living, and we're having to commute into it. We're living off campus. We're having to move in to go. I had to take a train into downtown Chicago. And it came down to the fact that we ended up only having $25 left to our married family, and I needed to buy some books for school, and Helen, can you believe it, wanted to buy food for her and Tim Jr. And so we kind of got into this really heated battle. Now we don't fight much over finances. Okay, fine. Since my daughter's the director of this little promo, she's like shaking her head at me. Yeah, right. Can't lie on these things. So we do fight often, but over finances. And this was probably one of our first fights over finances. And we got in pretty heated battle because I felt we needed that money, particularly to buy books for the school, for my classes. And Helen wanted to take that $25 and buy food for the family. We got kind of heated. We were like, well, no, we're here. God's going to take care of us. I was using throwing all the spiritual punches. And she was like, no, very practical. No, we need to eat. We need to put food on the table. We have a little baby we have to take care of. And we got kind of heated. And it got to a point where Helen was just really upset. And she went into the bedroom and basically in tears. And I walked out of our little house. And I was walking along the street. And I was feeling like, okay, I really have blown it here, and I couldn't believe that we were fighting. That God is the one that had provided for us to come to school, and we were fighting over this thing called money. And I just confessed it to the Lord that this is wrong, and I just said, okay, we're here trusting in God. We are going to trust God to provide for us. And so I turned around and I went back to the house, and I knocked on the door and I asked Helen to forgive me, and she came out, and we hugged and made up, and so anyway, I made the suggestion. I felt like that God was speaking to us, and I said, I really feel that what we need to do is we need to completely trust God for our welfare and for us living here in Chicago. So I feel that we should take all of our money, everything we have, take it and give it to God, and just trust God that He will provide for us and for everything we have. And amazingly, Helen agreed with this idea. And so we did that. We gathered up all things. We checked on our couch in between the cushions. We put out any pennies, any quarters we found. We gathered up all our money, which was about the equivalent of $25, and we walked it down to the church, and we gave it to the church, and we gave it to God. And we came back, and you know what? Now there was that sense of relief. We were rejoicing. We were like happy. Like, yes, we are doing a good thing, and we are going to live, and we're going to live by God, and we're going to live according to His blessings and His promises. So we went back, and we were happy, and that was good. And so
So we went around our business, and you know, we basically fasted that evening because we didn't have any food. So the next morning I wake up, and Helen and Tim Jr. was still in bed, and I opened the door to head off to school, and lo and behold, right on our front porch were like 8 bags of groceries. Can you 8 bags? I opened the door and I could not believe my eyes. 8 bags. I have no idea who they came from. No one has ever claimed these bags, whoever gave them to me. We suspect it was people from the church, but we really have no idea. And there were 8 bags of groceries. And I woke up Helen and said, honey, come look at this. And we were rejoicing that God had provided groceries for us. And of course, you know, I'm feeling like, oh great, now it shows that Helen was right. I guess we should have bought food with the money. But as it was, God provided that food for us. And so I went off to school, and I was excited. I was telling people at the school about God's blessing and how it happened, you know, what happened, and we were just excited about that. And so we told these things, and then I come back home, and Helen's already put the food away, and she's already gotten some food, something going for dinner, and I went out and got our mail, and we got like a pretty good stack of mail, you know, thinking, okay, there's some bills in there or whatever, you know, and we still don't have any money. But one of the letters in there was from my friend from high school and growing up, Bob Olson, and he was married to Wendy, Bob and Wendy, and they sent us a letter, and I hadn't seen them for a year at least, and here's this letter from them, and I get it. It's like, wow, look, honey, Bob and Wendy sent us a card. And I open it up, and they had written a check to us for $1,000. $1,000. I could not. I was speechless. I was like, honey, what do I do? Of course, I couldn't say that because I was speechless, but but put that aside there for a second. And I was like, what? Look at this. God has overly provided. I mean, He has provided for everything we need. God is faithful. He always has been. He always will be. And even down the years and down the road, and the years go by, and the journeys continue on, and we still struggle over money. We get it. We always come back to that time, that instance. Well, we remember back, reflect back on how God has always provided for us our every need. And even amidst times when the recession is going on and things are hard, we know that we can trust our God. When we are giving ourselves to Him, serving Him, giving everything up to Him, He is always faithful to meet our needs. And I hope that this story will be a blessing to you, and that we have a God that we can trust in our every need, So I just pray that this story will be a blessing to you this day. And we thank you again for visiting our site, our blog site, and listening to our Tales from Africa, even though this was probably a tale from Chicago. And I hope that you enjoyed and come visit us again. Thank you.